and the whole bit. So Saturday night metal on the Buzzard is called 2 Hours to Midnight, and it will start at 10 o'clock. And we'd love to have you along if that's your thing. And, you know, it's a Saturday night. It's kind of a niche thing, but it's something I've been wanting to do since I walked in the door here at MMS. And so not everybody's hip to it yet. I got a message midweek. Hey, when did you start doing a metal show? I said, well, back in March or May or whatever it was for a while, but better late than never. But 2 Hours to Midnight is Saturday night here on MMS. And then Sunday morning, Bill and Poundcake are your hosts for the Weekend Cox. That is 2 hours of the best stuff from this week. A lot of big things happened this week. Mm-hmm. Mary made her announcement that she was moving to a casino.
Yes.
And it was very exciting for everyone involved. Alan, I heard you guys talking about Mary moving, and you guys were breaking her balls, but that psychic that she went to told her that she needed to leave.
She did.
Did anybody mention that?
She told me she needed to I needed to leave, that my boyfriend would stay with me and want to do long distance. What else did she say?
She said all that?
Yeah, she did.
All right. Wait, no, we didn't mention that because I had forgotten because
she said,
it's all made up.
That someone, a younger person who looks up to me is going to get pregnant and come to me for advice. That hasn't happened yet. What else was there? I don't remember.
Yeah.
She gave me a bag of rocks. Oh, that I was going to make a lot of money, that she saw a lot of money in my future. I was going to be very, very successful.
Uh-huh.
Very wealthy. Maybe she predicted me.
So you're really clinging all that to your breast as you make this leap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually forgot about it until that texter brought it up, to be honest with you.
Ah, right. Alan, why does, this is a ridiculous question, why did Poundcake refer to golf as a white activity? That is a ridiculous question. Has he never heard of Vijay Singh or Tony Finau or Tiger Woods? Yes, well, there are,
That's three.
It is a predominantly white country, too, but, to throw out 25 guys who aren't white, I mean, it is very, very, I shouldn't say white, it's primarily the domain of the affluent. There aren't a lot of poor kids playing golf. So it doesn't really matter what color you are. But yes, it is largely whatever.
It's white.
And since Poundcake is biracial, there's nothing offensive about that at all. He's making, listen, this is a guy who is having toxic relationships with people in his brain.
Yeah. Imagine how I'd be with the actual relationship.
Give him a wide berth.
The amount of DMs I got about that, just like how is this a functioning member of our society?
I'm not. Who says I'm functioning?
That was just what they were telling me. I was like, what he's doing? He's having a good time. He likes it. You like having those fights with yourself.
I don't know. I think I'm just preparing myself for the inevitable. I'm like someone eventually is going to break my heart. I'm just training myself to be able to take it.
You don't. If you fail to prepare to fail.
But for what are you preparing exactly?
Fights.
Fights?
Having his feelings hurt and being mad at his boyfriend that doesn't exist.
I got to tell you, I don't understand the pre-fighting thing. Like, if you have your wits about you, you can deal with a fight in the moment.
Also, why don't you stand up for yourself?
Because he's going to stand up against himself in the same breath. He's fighting with himself. If he stands up for himself, he's just going to bring himself down.
It's all problems.
Yeah, I don't know.
He'll say to himself, why are you making me feel this way? And himself will say, I'm not, you are. You're imagining it.
Or they might say, you deserve it, bitch.
So you don't consider yourself a functioning member of society?
By their standards, no.
Whose?
Whoever texted that. Like, how is this a functioning member of society?
Right, but you agreed with them.
I said, if that's the case, I'm not a functioning member of society. But I think everyone runs over scenarios in their head that might not happen. You're never like at a bank like, okay, what if this bitch just jumped over the counter right now? And like, you know, you
The old lady at the bank is going to, first of all, I couldn't tell you the last time I've been in a bank. I'm not in there making friends and drinking
Well, I was
coffee
saying,
like
like-
Mary.
You
Mary,
should.
by the way, Mary, New York has
should.
so many bank branches.
I can't wait.
That's going to be the best part.
every other block. I'm popping into a
Oh.
PNC.
Yeah, I don't know if they give you free coffee and all of them. though.
Dum-dums in a mug, old ladies. Yeah. No, I'm never worried about the old lady behind the bank teller jumping over.
or you like look at someone and you think you know their life, like a passenger on the bus or something.
Or you make up a life for them.
I think what takes people by surprise or gets people rolling their eyes is the amount of energy you expend on these completely useless scenarios when there are so many real life scenarios that you'd be much better served pointing that energy toward. I mean, what you're talking about is something called situational awareness. If you're walking around America, the very real concern was that you would be standing in a bank and somebody would just start shooting people. Or you're at the grocery store and somebody just starts shooting people. Or you're at the gym and somebody just starts shooting people. Or you're in line at a concert and somebody just starts shooting people. Those are real concerns. The teller jumping over, those are more fun, I guess, to imagine. So if you're in it for the fun, the entertainment, I can totally identify
I
with
just
that.
let my mind wander, and my mind wanders always into something that it's not fathomable.
Oh, try it, man. Please do it.
Fathomable.
You
for
can do
me.
it.
And so I'm like, okay, so now I have a husband or a
By the way,
fiance.
how have you never had your heart broken and you're 31
I've never
years
been
old?
in love, I don't think.
You can have your heart broken and not be in love. You can.
But I don't know. I've had like a guy that I was like really, really interested in that told me I said, I think I'm, and again, I had nothing to base this off of because it was like the first time. There was a guy in college that was like conflicted about his sexuality. And I told him, I said, I think I'm falling in love with you. And at least he told me, he didn't lie to me or anything. He said, if you are falling in love with me, you feel a lot stronger about me than I do about you. That's the closest thing I ever felt to like a heartbreak. Like it's not like I was like depressed about it. I didn't stay in bed for days. I kind of just went on about my life. So I have never been in a relationship long enough to have that, you know, back and forth love. Like, you know, oh, you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you, or, you know, get cheated on. So all this stuff
It's not love. You hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you.
I'm just saying, if you guys are gonna go through rough patches and you work through it because you guys are in love. Me, I'm like, oh, this is not, I'm out. Like, I'm out. So I guess off of those standards, like I couldn't be in love, right? If you leave the first time.
I mean, it means something different to everybody.
Like, I don't know what heartbreak feels like. And they say, oh, well, then you haven't been heartbroken because you would know. And I'm like, I guess I haven't been heartbroken.
I was reading about the best cities for singles, and these come out pretty frequently. But for whatever reason, Cincinnati is the best city in Ohio. I would have thought it was Columbus because there's, you know, Ohio State's there and a lot of young people want to be there in Columbus. But for
Right.
whatever reason,
You need
Cincinnati keeps...
You eat that chili and you don't have to worry about it because you're single.
Or you're going to be single because a night out with the chili. Seattle was number one. And not just because Jeff Bezos is moving to Miami, I assume. But, I mean, 30 years ago, there was a movie about Seattle called Singles. Duh. So maybe you're just in the wrong spot, Poundcake. You know, Mary's going to New York. Maybe you're just in the wrong spot. You've said it yourself. You've already porked everybody here.
Yeah, Cleveland D is just not good D.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's time to up the ante a little bit and see how...
You got to travel more.
He's going to follow his dream, make his announcement. I am moving to Seattle to chase my dream of an
Chasing the
uncircumcised penis that will please me and get in fights with me,
Yeah,
break my heart
in
and then-
real life.
and then work things out with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, even my fantasies are twisted. But yeah, it's like...
Well, people's fantasies are supposed to be twisted, but yours are almost like twisted in an everyday sense. Like, these aren't crazy fantasies. These are like very, they're very linear in their own way. I got in a fight with this guy, and then I said, well, screw you. And then he said, you got to write this stuff down.
He didn't say anything. That's
what
hurtful
hurt.
part.
That's what hurt.
He let me throw
And then
my
he
club
didn't say anything.
while his friends were
He got
laughing
left
at me.
on read in his own imagination.
Yeah, and I just drove home, and that was as far as it went. I don't know anything else after. I'll see what my mind scrapes up after Mariah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people think that, people go, when was the first time you were in love? And for a lot of people, it's when they're young. But they're told, well, that's not real because you're young and you don't know. And I remember the first time I had my heart broken, and I don't know that I would have called it love or whatever. You're young, right? You haven't even mastered your emotions yet. And I remember my mom telling me, it doesn't matter if you're young. If that's how you feel, nobody's going to tell you that that's not how you felt. So if you are, it's one of the sweetest things my mom ever said to me. That's why I remember it, because I wasn't raised in an empathetic family. But I was like 15, so it was probably like my first girlfriend, and she was way hotter than, I had no business this girl liking me. But boy, she liked me. And then it just didn't work out because we're goddamn 15 years old.
Right.
So it wasn't like we had sex or anything like that, but it's like, you really have those white hot emotions. And you go, well, you're basically a kid. So, my mom was like, hey, man, that's how you feel. That's just it's just as valid as anybody else feeling anything.
Yeah, mine always came from like a competitive standpoint.
Of course it did.
I know. And
Competitive love?
Not
It's the best kind.
out of everyone. This
Comes
guy,
from the Greeks.
This guy could have had anyone, and he chose me. And then I find out later that he really didn't choose me. I was just a dummy and thought that he chose me. And so that's what makes me mad. So that was a scenario with the guy that told me, he was like, I'm not in love with you. He's like, you feel strong, way stronger about me than I do about you. I was like, well, fine. And I blocked him off all my social media, and then I had to slowly
See, that would be
back.
but that Poundcake is like the textbook definition of a competitive relationship.
Meaning?
Well, if you look at, if your shrink goes, well, are you in a partnership or are you in a competition? And they go, if your partner gets a big break or this big win, are you happy for them? And a lot of people will be like, well, but I didn't have anything like that. Okay, well, that means you're in competition with them.
I'm not in competition.
Like some people have to one up the other person all the time.
See, that's not me. I want to love him and be the only one that loves him.
Cody wants to feel special by being chosen.
Yeah, but everybody wants to feel that.
Yeah, but I can't do that when you got other bitches grabbing at you, and then you let them believe that
I see.
that they are also special.
It's the letting of the believing that's the problem.
Guys, it's so hard for you to understand, Alan.
I don't know. That's a great question. Why is it so hard for me to understand?
I'd be happy because if he wins, I win. I get a new car if he gets a big paycheck. We move to the suburbs.
You get a new car if he gets a raise. I see.
I'm just saying, why would I not be happy for my mans?
Yeah, but that's all. But those are all things.
So
That's all.
That's what love
That's all he's
is.
thinking.
That's all material.
he could put his initials in the head or the little headrest. That's fine.
Initials in the headrest of the car.
Yeah, so he knows.
Monogrammed headrests.
He bought them for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you rest your head in the driver's seat.
This is Zad's car. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I have every belief that all of these things are eventually going to come true for Cody. All at once. And I'll never see it coming. The only compromise will be that the other person in this situation will be crazy old. Old.
He could be cute.
No.
How are we
Old.
talking?
Old.
Like 87?
96.
How much is in his retirement? And how much is his estate worth?
He's independently wealthy. He comes from money.
Okay. All right. Well, what are we talking?
Yeah.
He's worth
$300 million.
300.
He can talk that talk to me all day.
See,
Listen, I'm interested in this guy now. Like,
we all want to bang him.
300 million.
Let's take turns. Little daisy chain with Ebenezer. Abner, whatever his name's going to be.
He probably got an old name like Ulysses.
Like what?
Ulysses?
You didn't put the S on it at first.
Ulysses.
Ulysses. He's like, it's singular.
He's just one.
He's only one Ulysses. All right.
Well, whatever. You come from Illinois. It's one singular noise.
It's not Illinois. It's Illinois.
Yeah, but it has an S on the end, so people
So
can
what?
easily, foreigners can say Illinois.
So does Paris, but they call it Paris.
Ooh, okay, got me. Not everyone calls it Perry. Rich people do.
No, the people who live there call it that. We call it Paris because we're Americans. But when you go over there, you don't want to be calling it Paris. You want to at least try to, get your moxie, keep your wits about you. I've got a break. If you want to, we've solved so many problems again here today.
problem.
No wonder we are the most listened to podcast in iHeartMedia in Ohio. Thank you one more time for your thoughts and your suggestions.